Hello, this is Caelan Huntress, and today I'm doing a homepage review of davidhorsager.com. I'm going to go over 4 things that I like and 4 things that I would improve about this homepage. The first thing that I like about this homepage is the bold hero section. We get to see David in the background talking in front of a lot of people, and while that does scroll, this message doesn't change. He's got his big sentence. He's got his tagline and request info. You get it right here, and it's full screen and full width. I really like that. So that's the first thing I like about this homepage is the bold hero section. The second thing I like about this homepage is this second button to watch a video in a pop-up. Now, normally, I'm not a big fan of having multiple calls to action right next to each other. I want to have one call to action in one section, but with this particular instance, I think it works to go to the contact section or to watch the video. But what I really like is the embedded player in the pop-up. I think that's a really smart choice that I'll get into in a little more detail in a little while. First, I want to tell you about the third thing I like about this homepage is the Grayscale Logos. This is really good best practice because it means that while I can see his credibility by seeing the logos of the places that he's spoken, I'm not distracted by their visual branding. If I had the IBM blue and the Nationwide blue and like all sorts of reds and all sorts of other colors, I would be distracted from the simple black and red palette that we have with his website. And so this is the third thing that I like about his website is that the corporate logos are in grayscale. Really well done. The fourth thing that I like about this website is this testimonial section right here. I think this is gorgeous. It shows David in his element with a strong testimonial from somebody of authority that's validating what we're seeing here. We're not just seeing it, we have it validated by somebody saying how great it was. So this is the fourth thing I like is a really well-designed testimonial section. I think this is a core component of a speaker's homepage. And now I'm going to talk about 4 things that I would improve. The first thing that I would improve on this website is that we have 2 competing request info buttons. You remember how I said earlier, duplicating calls to action often don't work? With this instance, with the request info and watch video, I think it does work. But having 2 request info buttons here, that is, to me, it's distracting and it's a bad use of space. A couple of options is you could either remove this request info and keep the watch video here and then have the top request info button, or you could keep these 2 buttons here and remove this top button from the nav bar until you get to a sticky header. After you scroll down, the nav bar can stay put overlaying the website, and then we have the request info button show up only on the sticky header. So only when you scroll past this point, that's when you get a second nav bar that parks over the homepage and things scroll under it, and that's got the request info button, but not having it here. So that's the first thing I would improve is I would have 1 request info button at a time for the viewer. The second thing that I would improve is this first video slide has some placeholder text. Let me refresh the page and look in the upper left-hand corner. You can see the text, and in the upper right, you see the YouTube. So this was screenshot from a YouTube video instead of just downloaded from it. I would revise that because when I first got to this website, that was the first thing that I saw in the upper left-hand corner, and it really threw me off. And having that be the first initial reaction that somebody has right when they're landing on their website, confusion, trying to figure out what this is, that's not the impression that we want to give right away. So that's the second thing I would improve is I'd revise that first video slide and remove the placeholder text or the YouTube text. The third thing that I would improve is I would just take out this embedded player. I see the point of it. When you play it, you get this full screen experience of David in his element, and I think that has some merit. But the problem with an embedded player when it's loaded on the homepage is that the homepage isn't finished loading until this whole embedded player loads. But there's a workaround, and it's already in place, and it's a pop-up. Having a video display in a pop-up, it means that this doesn't have to load until and unless somebody clicks the button. But if we embed a full width player right here, then we're waiting for this whole YouTube player to load before the page load is complete. And the way that Google ranks in SEO is your complete page load time affects your rankings. And so this could be a missed opportunity. There could be keywords that David would rank higher for if we didn't have to wait for this embedded player to load. So that's the third thing that I would improve, is I'd ditch the embedded player. And the fourth thing that I would improve is this section right here under click to continue reading. I love this content. I think this is really important content to have, and it deserves its own section. There might be a number of sections here. I mean, just this one, David has presented 4, and this list right here, this could be its own full width section. And then another item about his message that's counterpointed with another photo of him. I think that there's so much good content in this secluded area that it deserves to be on the homepage as a whole and not hidden behind a click button, because it's so easy for people to miss. It's competing with this call to action right here. Very few people are going to read it. So those are the 4 things that I like and the 4 things that I would improve. And I'm going to give you a bonus one. I subscribed to David's newsletter, and I was flipped over to this resources page. And this is really comprehensive. There's a lot of stuff. But the problem is there's a lot of stuff. Just vomiting content is a really difficult way to make an impact, because the problem that people are facing online is not that there's not enough information. It's that it's not delivered to them in a digestible format. So if this was delivered as a free course where each of these is a module, or if it was delivered with some context about what each of these PDFs are, it could just be, an excerpt that's next to each one, and they're laid out in a list. Having them just thrown at me like this, it's completely overwhelming. And when we give people too many choices online, they make none of them. And so this is the bonus thing that I'd improve, is I'd reorganize these trust tools so that it's more tangible, that it gives step-by-step guidance on how to use the tools to improve your life and career. So those are the 4 things that I like and the 4 things that I would improve about davidhorsager.com. If you'd like your own homepage reviewed, then there is a link in the description below. Good luck out there.